What's up, film family, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Dion,
And my name is Scott.
and today we're doing the 2013 movie Dallas Buyers Club. And the reason we're doing that movie is because of the real March Madness. That's with two
The
E's,
real.
not the
The
real.
real,
Yeah,
not the
exactly. The
fake.
real March Madness, where I say every March, but this is our anniversary, our second edition March Madness tournament where we have 16 movies and we have our fans, our listeners, I should say, on Instagram vote. And then we get our final four, and then we do all of those final four movies. And the Dallas Buyers Club is the first movie that we're doing on this from this year's tournament.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk a little bit more on like the whole bracket and stuff like that in our family meeting. But if you're new to the show, the way we usually do this is that we get into our family meeting, as I was mentioning, where we react to comments and thoughts from Instagram and Reddit, and we get into our deep dive conversation. And then we have our Filmmies, where we have 6 awards that we give out to the movie we just watched. But before we get into all that, we have to give our general thoughts.
General thoughts.
So, Scott, what were your thoughts on Dallas Buyers Club?
I went in completely blind to this movie. I have not seen it before. Have you seen it before?
No, I've never seen it before either.
Yeah, I went in like I don't even know what you knew about it going in, but I knew it was Matthew McConaughey. I knew it was in Dallas, Texas,
Mhm.
and that was pretty much it. To be honest, I think I
Same.
maybe knew Jared Leto was in there, but I didn't know nothing about it. But I loved it. And going in completely blind, I think actually really elevated the experience for me because like the story is just so unpredictable and it just keeps
Mhm.
evolving. Like I have a list here of 4 different things I thought the movie was gonna be as it was
Mhm.
going. Do you want me to get into that right now, or what do you
Yeah,
think
no.
of the movie?
Well, no, I'll let you get into that, but I feel the exact same way as you, which is funny that I went to this so blind, and I didn't even know Julia Garner was in this movie. When I
Yeah.
saw her pop up, I was like, I had no idea she was in this movie.
Same.
What I knew going into this movie was like Matthew McConaughey, AIDS.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't even know that?
I didn't even know that, dude.
I knew AIDS, and like I knew it was called Dallas Buyers Club, but like I didn't even really know if that meant it was going to be in Dallas, to be honest, because it didn't start there.
True. Well,
And
no,
then-
is that not Dallas? The rodeo?
Is it? Oh, maybe
I
you're
figured it
right.
was.
Actually, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it does start in Dallas. And I knew Jared Leto was in the movie, but I didn't know to what extent. And I had a thought on what I thought his character was going to be, and I want to hear you because I'll respond to maybe we had
Yeah.
similar thoughts.
Well, so at first, we see him at the rodeo, right? I thought it was like, okay,
Yeah.
he's a hustler and he's like making a bunch of enemies. Like maybe he's like just solving a problem, like a Marty Supreme type of movie,
Mhm.
because he like steals from those guys, gets arrested by the cop, all this stuff. Then he gets the diagnosis of like the HIV and he's given 30 days to live. I was like, okay, so maybe it's just like he's living it up in the 30 days. He's just going to go crazy for these 30 days. Like, that's all I got. So let me just get,
Mhm.
hookers and drugs and like, let me just go nuts. Then I thought, okay, he's trying to get the drugs. He doesn't want to die. So it's going to be like an individual struggle for survival. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to just prolong his life, like keep going and going. And then it turns into like a fight for what's right and helping a community in danger and like all this emotional attachment that I was not expecting in the slightest. Like I just every step that I thought the movie was going to be, it turned its head on me and I loved it, honestly.
Yeah. No, same. Like I thought the movie was gonna be like just the 30 days.
Mhm.
Like you. Like that's what because again, went in completely blind. I didn't even really know this was a real person.
Same.
Like as I was watching the movie and then like as it ended, I was like, oh, this was actually a real guy. Like I wasn't sure if this is like a fictional, kind of like a Marty Supreme, to be honest, as you mentioned, Marty Supreme, where it's like there was a real guy, but like everything that's going on here, we kind of like extended and they made our own story out of it. This was, I'm sure there was obviously some liberties that were added to the movie, but for the most part, it was pretty historically accurate in what they depicted in the movie. So it was crazy just to go through this movie and not know where it was, which is good, but
Yeah.
not know where they're taking us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. Like I read that it was like decently accurate. Like obviously there's some liberties, but it was pretty accurate to overall what happened. And I mean, just the whole construction of like the Buyers Club in general, like the whole, we bring in these unapproved drugs and we have this membership so people can get these drugs. Like apparently a whole bunch of these were popping up. Like I like during the 80s, the whole HIV AIDS problem was such a big
Mhm.
deal at the time, and I was aware of that. I wasn't aware of these like buyers clubs,
Me neither.
but like so setting this one up, I do have a few questions on like the legality and kind of how that stuff worked that
Mhm.
I'll get into a little bit later. But like in this movie, there's just so much that happens, and it's less than 2 hours. Like it's less than a two
Yeah.
hour runtime, and there's just so much stuff that's going on, but they still managed to build a lot of emotional connection between these characters. Like I think the characters are just so great.
Oh,
Like you
yeah.
mentioned, he's based on a real person, Ron, but
Mhm.
like Rayon, Jared Leto's character, Eve, the doctor, Julia Garner's character, those are fictional,
Yeah.
and they're just great characters.
No, for sure. That was my point too, where I said I really enjoyed this movie, and I actually had high expectations in the sense of like, reading on the internet people talking about how this is a good movie. I know that it won Oscars, so I was
Hmm.
like, okay, well, I'm excited to see like this movie that people enjoy. But again, I don't know why people like it.
True.
So like, and I was assuming that I was like, well, it must be very character based, and I just didn't expect the characters to be as good as they were, because I thought it was going to be just more locked on like you're going to watch. It's like a solo man performance that we're about to watch Matthew McConaughey go on, but I didn't realize that there's going to be all these other dynamics and kind of like a history lesson as we were
Yeah.
talking about.
True.
Because again, we weren't born during that era, so but like we obviously knew about it. Like it touched a lot of touched basketball with like Magic Johnson. It touched music with Easy E, Freddie Mercury too, and stuff like that. So like it was definitely something that like it wasn't something that came and went and then we never even heard about it. But these buyers club was something I'd never even heard of.
Yeah. Yeah. You make a good point about like the history lesson, but also like a medical lesson a little bit, talking
Hmm.
about like, okay, this is this drug and it destroys your immune system. But then we have these proteins and these nutrients, and like these will actually help your body. And this is like they actually do a pretty decent job of explaining that a little bit, which you
Yeah.
don't really even need to, right? You could just be like,
Hmm.
this drug is killing you. This pill will actually help you. And
Yeah.
for the story, that's really all you need to know. But they actually explain it a little bit. They really paint the FDA as these bad guys. And so that's why I say like it turns into like a fight for what's right. They're like, no, this, the doctor over here in the hospital, like they're prioritizing profits and like, no, just do the trials. And they're like, but these people are actually dying, right? Like, no,
Mm.
these drugs, yes, they're unapproved and you're not making any money from this. So like the FDA and the IRS, they don't like come after him, but like I'm actually helping people. You know what I mean? So like I just didn't expect that kind of depth, and the characters, the story, everything is just wild. Great
Yeah.
movie.
Even
And you
just the
make a
style. Yeah. Go. Say your thing.
well, I was just finally I was gonna say you made a good point about like I thought it would just be individual, like the poster, like it's just him. He's
Yeah.
just like standing in the middle of the poster, like with his arms up. I was like, okay, this is the guy. We start the movie just on him. We're following him, and he is our main character. But I thought it was like, okay, we're just following this guy's journey.
Mhm. Yeah, it felt like one of those movies where it's like we're only in his lens, where we're only gonna have him going through life, and there's gonna be people that are obviously passing through, but they're not really gonna have that much depth. It's like how he
Right.
responds to this person and this person, but we actually get individual scenes with people where he's not even in the room, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was gonna be that. I thought it was just gonna be like the solo piece of watch this man deal with his diagnosis of having HIV, and you're gonna see him go through these 30 days. That's why I thought the movie was gonna be as it was going on. I was like, okay, we're gonna see this guy's 30 days. But then as it like jumped to like day 29, I'm like, we're like 30 minutes in. I guess this is
Yeah.
this is not what the movie is.
Yeah, then it goes 3 months later when he's in Mexico. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, so I guess the diagnosis was
Yeah.
wrong. Okay. Or like this doctor is helping him and he's not curing him, but like helping prolong his life. And then like they're like, okay, a year later. And then like it just kept evolving. So I was like, oh, he's kicking ass right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly, which I did not expect. Did you have any other, because you said you had four things. Did you say
Uh
them all? Like what you
yeah, yeah.
thought the movie was
Yeah, I
gonna?
got through. It was like Hustler, then 30 like living it up with 30 days, then the individual struggle for survival, where I
Mm,
thought, he was going to be just looking for drugs, and like I didn't think he would then expand it to like, okay, like I found all these drugs. I mean, he obviously does I think a big motivation for him to like, bring this stuff across the border is money. Like that's the biggest
Yeah.
reason he's doing. He doesn't start doing this to help a community. He
Hmm.
starts doing it to make money because this is a community that he hates at the start of the
Yeah.
movie. So obviously, like, I'm not saying he was like, a angel sent from heaven because he did this selfishly for
Yeah.
money, but that's just not where I expected it to go. I thought he was like, okay, he's got all these pills and he's just gonna like, they're gonna run out here in Mexico, so now he's got to fly to this part of the world and find more pills, and like, and then he's gonna run into trouble over there with the cops over there because he's smuggling pills, and like I thought it was gonna go that way, and then it just turns into like this heartfelt movie that I just did not expect in the slightest. So good.
Me neither. I didn't expect it at all, and just the style of the movie too. I didn't expect just the way it was shot. I thought was interesting too. Like we got these moments, like even with the score, and again, I'll get more into that all that stuff, like the deep dive in the awards. But just like we get those moments where it's like it's kind of whenever he feels like he's feeling symptoms, or he feels like he's about to pass
Mm.
out, and then everything just kind of like blacks fades out, and he's kind of like wobbly and stuff like that, and just like the way it almost kind of felt like a documentary at times. Like I
Mm.
don't know, like to get like too into like the cinematography aspect of it. Just like sometimes the scenes very much felt like it was just like a third person in the room, kind of documenting this guy's life. And like there'd be like these hard moments of him kind of like passing out, and then the way we get like these are we as it's breaking down into like the days and stuff like that. It's just like interesting,
Hmm.
as it was like it felt like a documenting just this guy's life in that sense, where it is a docudrama, but
Right.
it felt that style kind of made it feel more so like a documentary.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think you're right. Like I didn't attach like that word to it, like documentary, but that does really feel like that now that you mention it. Like I did read that it was 100% like handheld cameras. So
Mm,
because you're right, it feels like when they get to the hotel, let's say, and they start setting up like their business, like the camera, it feels like the guy's just standing in the doorway holding a camera
yeah.
while Ron and Rayon are like, getting their pills together and starting to build this thing. Like there's some like they never look at the camera. It's never
Mm,
like breaking that fourth wall, like acknowledging like, hey, like there's the camera guy. It's like so they're not trying to like make it a documentary, even
mm,
though it's fictional, but it still feels like that just in the way that they shoot it. And when they're in the car, like it feels like he's just sitting in the passenger seat with a camera, like recording the guy. Like all those things. You made a good point of like when he starts to like pass out, or if he has when he has like a heart attack and like all this stuff. Like so many times where like the room is just spinning and it's just like that. Do you call it like a? It's not a siren where it's just like like
yeah,
there's just like that
I was trying
ringing
to
in your
think of what to
ears.
call it
I don't even know
too.
what you call that,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I don't know what you call it either. But yeah, I was like trying to find my words to say like what do you call that sound? But yeah, I know you. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, no, it is good. But with that being said, I think it's time, Scott. I think it's time to get to the family meeting.
Say less.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the family meeting. This week, we're gonna talk about March Madness here a little bit more, the real March Madness.
Real
So
March Madness.
on our Instagram, I asked the question, why did you vote for this movie? Because like we said, it won the drama division, but then lost in the final four, which is why we're doing it first. So it beat Punch Drunk Love. It had 67% of the votes. Then in the second round, it beat Raging Bull with 60% of the votes. Then it got to the final four, went up against a rival, and got bent. It only got 8%. That
Yeah,
was
that's
I
tough.
was not expecting that, but
That's tough.
I'll say we got our boy Kobe, no relation. He said, since it's March Madness, I had to vote for Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. I like that. That's good. That's good,
Yeah,
Kobe. I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. That's good.
So yeah, what was your bracket? Who did you have coming out of drama?
Oh, I had
Oh, you had
Honora.
Honora.
Wishful thinking. Yeah, she didn't even make
Yeah.
it out of the first round.
I actually nailed the drama division. I had Raging Bull beating Honora, Dallas Buyers Club, and then Dallas Buyers Club winning. Look at me.
Yeah, look at
I'm
you. No, it's
smoking your predictions.
yeah, you are. I don't know why. In my mind, I don't know why. You just never really know.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just gonna sit in the drama position, like maybe there's the thought of like, hey, because Paul Thomas Anderson, people are like, oh, that's the guy that did one battle after another. Like he's in their mind. Maybe Punch Drunk will get some love. I don't know. Maybe in my mind, I was thinking that like the Buyers Dallas Club was a little too indie. Like you just never know who's gonna vote, right? So it's either like, are we gonna get people that are like voting that are a little more casual in their movie watching, or the people that are gonna vote are gonna be more so the people that are more so locked into watching like independent movies and stuff like that. So that's why I went okay. Then maybe they'll vote for Honora then, because that's like for movie people, but it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Dallas Buyers Club to beat Raging Bull, to be honest, even though that wasn't even like my prediction. But once it went against them, I was like, okay, I don't think that's gonna
just
be the case.
Scorsese of it, or the classic movie of it,
De Niro of it too.
De Niro, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like I didn't know anything about this movie going in, so I didn't know what the appeal was, if people really even liked it that much. I really didn't know anything about it. So like, I mean, as March Madness, like if you talk about the basketball of it, like it's so unpredictable. You can kind of just like throw whatever in your bracket. You're probably going to be wrong anyways. But like, so when I when I predicted Dallas Buyers Club was going to win drama, I was just kind of going out on whim. Like, I don't know, maybe this one will win. I ended up being right. And so now I can sit up on top of the soapbox and say, look how smart I am. But like, I was just guessing.
Yeah. I think I was in the same thing with you too, also, where it's just like both of us are established earlier that neither of us have seen this movie, didn't know much about it. So that was my thought. It was like, well, it's probably not going to go that far then. Like the two guys that have a movie podcast, never seen it and also didn't know much about it. I don't know. We don't speak for everybody, but I was thinking, I was like, maybe that's a telltale sign that it probably won't get a lot of votes. That was my thought, which is funny that you had it going far and you'd never even seen it. So I don't know why you thought.
I literally just guessed. Because I mean, Punch Drunk Love, like you make a point about PTA, but at the same time, like PTA is popular in the film space, but he never really broke through into that like mainstream appeal. I don't really know why, because his movies are great.
Yeah, but I think his most mainstream movie is probably Boogie Nights, and maybe people probably didn't realize that that's who that made that movie.
Yeah, I think that probably is it, because it's not Magnolia. There Will Be Blood, I guess, is pretty big.
Yeah, but I don't know if people also know that he's the one that made that movie.
You don't think so?
Like casual people.
Yeah,
like I still think I just think his name doesn't. Yeah, his name doesn't hold the weight. It's not like you hear a Nolan or you hear a Tarantino. Like his name doesn't, or Spielberg. Like his name doesn't, like people don't hear his name and be like, oh yeah, I know that director. But if you start saying the movies, you're like, oh yeah, I know Boogie Nights. Like I know There Will Be Blood. I've heard of that movie, or Magnolia. Like I'm sure people have heard of these movies. But his name, for whatever reason, it just doesn't. It's never made it past.
I don't know. I'm a fan of you, PTA. I'm championing.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm championing you. And that Oscar, I'm sure, will help.
Yeah.
But so Reddit, I asked. Well, I kind of just like threw my opinion on the movie, kind of saying, like what we've been saying. Like I went in blind and loved it. What did you guys think of the movie? I'm gonna shout out Mia Masi. Said great film. First scene that always comes to mind is when he's in the library and he sees some of the main causes of HIV being unprotected sex and intravenous drugs, and has a memory of doing both at the same time. That was an interesting moment. And then like he reacts to, and like he's just bangs the table, yells "fuck" like in the middle of the library. Everybody looks at him. He's coughing out a lung. Everyone's looking at him. Like, just putting yourself in the shoes and just being someone in the library, like, oh god. Yeah, that guy's going through it right now, but memorable scene.
No, it is a memorable scene, we're obviously, we're talking about it right now. Just the way he looks in the movie too, just looks so like frail and everything. It's not. I wouldn't say it's machinist level,
right?
but he's on his way. He's on his way there to just that body transformation where it's just like, oh man, he looks like such a frail man.
Yeah, definitely respect the commitment to the role. He lost, I want to say like 40 or 50 pounds, I read.
Yeah, I think I saw 50. I think I did see 50. He went for like a 2 pounds a week was like his goal, as he started from like I don't know what the math would be on that and like how long that'd be weeks. Back. But yeah, I guess 25 weeks. I was gonna try to put it in months, so then I was like,
it's 52 weeks in a year. So it's 26 weeks would be half the year. So if it's 25 weeks, about 6 months.
Yeah. Which is
Quick
and
maths.
the crazy thing is why it's in my mind already now, so I'll say it now before I forget. He said that when he started losing the weight and was going like the 2 pounds a week, the movie wasn't even like officially happening at that point.
Oh,
Like there
geez.
was no funding or anything, but he's just like he like willed it into existence. Like I'm gonna keep losing weight. Yeah, at one point he was like 20. He lost 20 pounds, and there was still no green light on the movie. He's like, they're like, oh, like what are you losing weight for? He's like, the movie. He's like, oh, do you have financing? He's like, no, but it's gonna happen. And he just kept
Wow.
losing weight and kept losing weight and kept losing weight, and he kept saying, no, it's gonna happen.
Damn, I didn't read that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's insane.
I mean, maybe he just wanted to go on a diet anyways. I mean, not to be that thin, but like if you just wanted to, okay, like I might have this role, might as well start losing the weight a little bit here, a little bit here, but to cut 20 and just keep going and still not have any surefire, like, yeah, you're going to be doing this thing. I mean, I guess what's the worst case scenario if they're like, okay, movie's canceled, you just gain the weight back. It's not like you lost that much, but still respect to the commitment to the gig without even having the gig. That's crazy.
No, and at that point too, he was kind of known as just like the rom-com guy at that point.
True.
Like he was doing a lot of those rom-com movies, and they didn't want to make. I think the pushback was like, I don't know if we're gonna make this drama with this rom-com guy. Like I don't know. And I think it was the fact that people started seeing the commitment he was doing on is like, okay, this guy's pretty locked into doing this. I think he's a little more than just the rom-com guy, which is funny too because Heath Ledger used to get that too. People didn't want him to be the Joker. They're like, I don't know if we want this guy to be our Joker, and then he shows up, and they're like, okay, I think he's committed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe if he didn't start cutting this weight earlier, then the movie wouldn't have been made because they wouldn't have bought into him being able to do this. So like, this is like a part of the audition almost. But like, you don't think I could do it, but like, look at me, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Jared Leto lost a bunch of weight for this too.
Yeah, he did. With him though, the conscious like he was a little more like frail than Matthew McConaughey, so it was a little more of a progression. He did get pretty skinny, but I think Matthew McConaughey was just a lot bigger than him, so like it was more of a dramatic transformation when you look at from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, like a bigger difference in between them. Yeah, that makes sense. Finally, I'm gonna shout out Barkham22. Said simply one of the few reasons I can't write off Leto. I mean, he was great in this movie. McConaughey and him were both great. They both won Oscars for their performances in this movie. But Leto, like, he's just such a weird guy, like in real life. So, and he's made a couple stinkers, like Morbius came out and like Tron didn't do well. And like, that's recent. Obviously this movie came out in 2013, but like, apparently he's got like an island cult of people. Like he's just like a weird dude.
What?
Yeah, bro. Have you never heard this?
I did not hear that. I know he started off as a musician. He got like a rock band. I've never heard that.
Jared Leto cult.
Cult? He's got the whole what's it called, Manson thing going from with his Jesus kind of look. But
the cult of Jared Leto refers to a mixture of intense devoted fandom surrounding his band 30 Seconds to Mars and his own eccentric, often messianic public persona. Oh, maybe it's not as crazy as I thought.
Okay. Yeah, you made him sound really crazy just now. I'm glad you
the term has gained traction due to specific highly stylized fan gatherings such as Mars Island in Croatia, where Leto has appeared in white robes, prompting comparisons to a cult leader. So yeah, he does like it's okay. I don't know exactly how deep it is, but it's weird. He's weird.
It is weird. Yeah. No, he is a weird dude. I'm not going to argue that.
But he was great in this movie, so I couldn't write him off either. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Is that all we got for?
That's it for the family meeting.
Reddit. Okay. Yeah. I'm curious. Like we both talked about how we went in pretty blind. Did you expect to only get the portion of Ron where he was skinny, or did you expect there to be kind of like a bounce back and forth? Like I don't know if that was another one of your thoughts.
No, I don't think so. I think like once from the jump, we see him like having sex outside the rodeo. All he's doing is like drinking alcohol and like eating like crap and like doing drugs and like so he's treating his body very poorly. So like
Mhm.
and this is just kind of who he is. So I never expected that to change. So I didn't really expect his physical appearance to get any better.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, I didn't necessarily think he would get better, but I wasn't what one thing I didn't expect is I thought we were kind of gonna see like a decline like in this movie.
Oh,
Like
the
I thought he was gonna
worst.
start off like as like Matthew McConaughey would kind of was
Mm,
like before he even like was started losing the weight. I thought we were gonna start there, or it'd be like we'd see it bounce back and forth. Like we'd see him skinny, and then we start seeing flashbacks of him
mm,
like before, and then we go forward and kind of get flashbacks, like almost like I guess like a Project Hail Mary.
yeah,
Not like he's forgetting or like trying to remember what happened in his past, but I guess it kind of would have been because it would have been like kind of figure out like when did I catch it, which I guess you would never really know. You can have
true.
assumptions. Like I guess the whole library thing, that's kind of an assumption. Like, well, that's probably what it
Right.
was.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that'd be really hard to do like in real life shooting. Like you'd have
Hmm.
to then gain all the weight back and then shoot these flashback scenes or vice versa. Like make all these scenes and then lose a bunch. Oh, I guess you'd probably gain the weight back. You'd probably do the skinny stuff first, but like that would be really tough to do. Not that you can't do it.
Hmm.
No, I didn't. I didn't expect that. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's fair. I don't know why I thought perhaps, but you do make a good point that it would have been hard to film in that aspect because it's like, how do you do like, do you do the skinny parts first, which I maybe, and then you gain the weight back, but that's a lot of demand, and it just take a lot longer to record to film the movie because now you got to
Yeah.
wait for him to get the weight back in a healthy way too, because
Right.
you don't want to just like damage your body. Just like, okay, I got to put on 50 pounds really quickly, like
Yeah.
that's
Just
just
eating
you're
McDonald's and Wendy's or whatever. But like,
yeah,
because
exactly.
and also like I read a bunch about like the difficulties about getting this movie made because obviously this guy was alive in the 80s and he died in 92, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's right.
the writer actually like interviewed the real Ron. What's his full name?
Oh,
Ron Woodruff.
that's a good question. One Woodruff. Okay.
The real
Yeah.
Ron Woodruff interviewed him like a few months before he died in
Oh
92.
wow.
And yeah, so he started to write this script, so he had it in the 90s, and then
Damn.
it was like 20 years of like getting the rights, talking to studios. It got rejected a whole bunch of times. Like there was a whole bunch of like difficulty in getting this movie made. So if you just like would make it even tougher by saying, okay, we're gonna film all half of the movie and then we're gonna wait, you know, 4 months or 6 months for McConaughey to gain all this weight back and then shoot the other half of the movie. I think that would just make it even harder to sell to studios. So I think they're just like, yeah, let's just not do that.
Yeah, it's one of those tough things too, where it's like I know one of their struggles was just like even just thinking like, do people want to see this kind of movie? Like, is it going to work out? I think a big part of the appeal of the movie is just noting that like, oh, apparently he lost a lot of weight for this role. Like
Mm,
that adds to it. Like, where if it's like, oh, he didn't fully commit, and it's just like it just looks like a regular Matthew McConaughey, and
mm,
then he's just going with it. It probably still would be some appeal because a lot of good things in there. But I think that's kind of like the selling point of it, where it's like, look how committed he was to this role. You got to check this out, and then also then you watch the movie, and then you see the journey that they bring you on.
yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Um, I wanted to talk about the like Rayon and Ron's relationship. You know, I
Hmm.
talked about like I didn't expect so much emotion to come from this movie, and a lot of it is between them. Like, you know, they meet in the hospital for the first time, and like Ron up to this point is very intolerant. Like you know, he's just calling them calling gay people the F slurs, and he even says the N word at one point. Like he's just very
Oh yeah,
out.
true. I was like,
He
when did he
just
say? Yeah, I was with early on. I do.
yeah, when they were with the people at his job were
They're talking
debating
about
of
Saudi
going to
Arabia.
exactly. You gonna
Yeah,
work for those sand N
yeah,
words? I was like, damn, okay. So yeah, they beat the hospital. And Ron sees him first like as an opportunity to help make money, right? He's like, okay, he could
yeah.
be my in into this community because he started like he started trying to sell this stuff and like nobody really cared. Nobody would listen to him. So Another point of this movie, I just thought it would be okay. The two of them, this is their partnership, and it's just going to be them like getting rich. They're gonna start this, and we're gonna see them like, yeah, they're dying, but like, look, they're rock stars and they're rich and they're at the top. I didn't expect it to like keep going down and like, but and as the movie goes on, like they really start to care for each other and they build this bond and like, so when Rayon dies at the end, like Ron attacks the doctor and so like you're a fucking murderer, like you killed him, and it really affects him, like it, and it really affects us because we care so much about their dynamic together. I did not expect that, but it was so good.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all, man. Like I thought Rayan was gonna be. I thought the only scene we were gonna get with Rayan was the card scene, like them
Oh
playing
wow,
cards. Yeah,
yeah.
and I don't think we'd ever gonna see Leto again. Like, I literally thought he had a tiny role in this because going into the movie and watching it, I didn't know he won an award.
Mm.
So like I didn't think I was like, okay, well he probably got a big part in this movie. Like I didn't even know, again, very blind going into this movie. I didn't even know Matthew McConaughey won an award for it either. Like I
Yeah.
found out all that stuff afterwards. I just like I went in, watched it, and then afterwards, like, okay, now I realized. Like I thought um it was interesting how they built Ron's character as of just being so completely unlikable. And I wasn't expecting like a turn. Like I didn't know if this movie was just gonna be like, look how like just look at this guy's life. He just wasn't really tolerable. You hope that maybe he'd come around or like at least find like maybe some of a middle ground or not be as bad. But I didn't expect this whole turnaround of a character. It really
Yeah.
surprised me.
Yeah, I loved his character arc, to be honest, and I think how they handled it, because I think in a lesser movie that would almost be like the focal point, or it'd be a lot more in your face. Like Ron, he's intolerant, like homophobe,
Hmm.
and he becomes an ally, like fighting for the community. Also, he's in it for money, but he's fighting for the community and people that are dying. He's actually trying to help people. But I think in a lesser movie it'd be like more in your face. He'd be like at some point, with when he's hanging out with Rayon, he'd be like, you know what? Hey, you gay people are all right. You're actually not as bad as I thought. Or like, or he would apologize to Rayon and be like, oh, I'm sorry for like the way I treated you early on and the what I was saying about this community. He never has a moment like that. So the movie isn't like telling you that like he's redeemed. It just kind of
Hmm.
happens. Like he just gradually starts getting a little better. He starts by calling them the F slur, then he goes into the club, but he's still a little uncomfortable. Like he
Yeah.
goes in because he's trying to sell the drugs, but like he's still like, okay, take the drugs now, fuck off. Like he's still a
Yeah.
little uncomfortable. He doesn't like the pictures of the dudes in his office. Like he never
Hmm.
really like fully, like he's not gay, so he's not
Yeah.
fully into that. But like he sticks up for Rayon in the grocery store. So like we see him gradually kind of get better and improve and like become an ally. But the movie's not just like telling us. It just happens.
Yeah. You know, it's a funny thing too, which again, the mind working in so many different avenues because I was going in blind with this movie where I'm just like trying to connect these pieces. And I'm like, there was a small part of me that thought, is he gay? Is that like gonna be like a reveal? Because like he's
Mm,
so and when it was one of those cases where it's like so like, oh yeah, I don't like those gay, I'll get away with all that gay stuff. And then he like closeted or something. Like I was waiting
right.
for that to be a thing where it's just like this is very aggressively homophobic where it's like it almost feels like you're like fighting with something within yourself. Like I wasn't sure. Is like, is that actually how he got AIDS? Where like we're gonna see like a flashback of like, damn man, like it got me or something like that. Like that was a thought that was going in my head as we were going through this movie because he's just so homophobic.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that in real life he, like, it's not sure, it's not a factual, I guess, like that he, if he was or wasn't gay, or if he had like any bisexual relations, like he might have. So it's possible that he actually got it like
Mhm.
that. We never see it in the movie, like you're saying, but like,
Yeah.
but you're right. Like I definitely could have seen it going that way, where it's like outwardly to everyone, like, no, I'm not gay. Like I love women and I hate gay
Mhm.
people and like all this stuff, but like you're doing that because you don't want anyone to think that you're actually gay.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I thought that was like gonna be like this, not like a twist or this big like plot reveal, but I thought it was just gonna be just an element of his character that's like actually he was or like the Rayon thing. Like I wasn't sure of like, oh, is he gonna be dating Rayon? Was Rayon gonna be a character that like a person that he hooked up with or something? Like my mind was just going all because again, not knowing anything of the story, where like the plot, where it was going or anything. Like I had no idea what that relationship or what that was gonna be.
Yeah, but I love the way it feels authentic because like when him and Rayon start their business like in the hotel and the lawyer comes for the first time and he's like, "Hey, this is Rayon, this is my partner." Then he paused for a second, he's like, "Business partner." Like he just so there is still a little bit of that where he's like, I don't want this guy to think I'm gay. Like I have to specify that this is just my business partner. But just in the way he treats Rayon, like he's treating him like a friend, you know, like someone that he genuinely cares about. Versus at the start of the relationship, like when they meet in the hospital and then his leg cramps up, so Rayon starts like touching his leg. He's like, no, don't even touch me. Like I don't want nothing to do with you at all, right? So like I said, there's never a moment where like the movie says to our face, or like they have a moment where he apologizes, or they have this like specific time where they say out loud that like now he's on the other side of this. Like it just happens. He just starts treating him well, like a good person, like an equal, and like a friend. And I like that. I like the subtlety.
No,
of that.
same. I'm not even trying to catch you slipping or anything, like calling you out, but like, what was Rayon a he or a she? I actually don't remember. Like, was he calling her she the whole time, or was Rayon he?
I think Rayon is a trans woman, because they talk about like he wants a sex change, or she wants a sex change. So I guess you say she. I think she.
I'm just trying to remember what they were saying in the movie.
I think
and again,
I'm
not like trying to call you out, like cancel my co-host. He's saying the wrong pronoun. But I was literally just trying to remember. I'm like, were they calling Rayon she the whole time? Or were they going back and forth?
I think they were calling Rayon he, but this is also Texas in the 80s, so I think that it was more of like a just that's not what they were doing at the time. But I think if it were today, I think, well, I mean, that's up to Rayon, you know, like Rayon never specified what their pronouns were, so I don't know.
That is true. And I also feel like if they were ever calling Rayon he, sometimes it would probably be like in a derogatory way of like, stop, you're not a woman, you're a man. So like, and it probably went back and forth, to be honest. But yeah, that was just like, again, I'm not trying to like, cancel my co-host, got him. But I was just like, in that moment, I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I actually don't even remember what they were calling back and forth.
All right, Dion, I want you to look into the camera and tell me, what did you call Rayon?
But no, to your point, I didn't expect, even like the scene we saw Rayon talking to, now I'm messed up, her father's Rocky to her father. I didn't expect that scene either too. And the line, maybe I'm stepping on your quote, it's not my quote, but where he said, "Lord help me," he's like, "He is, because he gave me AIDS." I was like, damn, that's like a bar, but like you're telling your dad you had AIDS, so it's like it's emotional, but it's also a bar. To hit him with that so quick.
100%. And like, so this is the first time we're seeing, I'm just going to say them because I don't know what the pronouns are. So I'm just going to say them. So Rayon, we see them like dressed in a suit, like no makeup or hair or anything. So like they're dressed in men's clothing. Yeah. And their dad even mentions that, like, I'm glad that you did that. You don't want to embarrass me. Like, so we could see that obviously this is a point of conflict between them. And I really like that it shows Rayon's vulnerability. Like they ask about, their mom. You might really mess me up, man. Like,
they know. Okay, everyone knows where our heart is. We're not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that.
I don't have no issues with that. If I say the wrong pronoun,
keep flubbing it. Yeah. So just go speak.
Yeah. So Rayon's talking about like her mom. Asked about her mom, and as the dad, like for money, obviously. But it's just such a vulnerable, and shout out to Leto in this scene. It's just so good when he like, he's power, like he's confident, but then like when they start to talk, when he mentions the AIDS thing, and his dad starts to realize like what's happening, So he like slowly starts to break down. It's such a great moment of vulnerability, and I think that's so interesting for the character because the Rayon also has thick skin. Like they're trans in Texas in the 80s. Like people are making fun of him all the time. Like
Yeah.
Ron's friend in the grocery store wouldn't shake his hand, and he wasn't getting mad about it. He was just like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. So like
Hmm.
he definitely has thick skin, but he also has this vulnerable side. Like the nuance of this character is so good.
Yeah, and just even just seeing the tragedy of that character, just like it seems like the like Rayon's on like I wouldn't say on top of the world, but like is like on top of things. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm making the money, give me 25%, but still struggling with drug addiction like on the side. And you see like that side element
Mm.
where it's like, no, we're up now. Like we got the club. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you still doing this stuff? Like, and Ron at that point is now turning like I'm like a parent figure where it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, come on, like keep your like we're only eating good things. Don't get away with that processed stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that was almost kind of funny too. Like when he sees it, he's like, "Oh, approved by the FDA." Yeah, go figure, huh? Yeah, this processed garbage. But yeah, I thought like that plays into that vulnerable side too. I think of Rayon is like he's pretty submissive when Ron like tells him to do stuff. You know, he's like, "No, put the process shit back," and like Rayon kind of pushes back a little bit, like, "No, but it's good, you'll like it." And then he's like, "No, put it back," and then he goes puts it back. You know, even just when he asked for like coffee at the office, when you know, like, why are my walls painted red? And he's like, "Oh, I thought you'd like it," and like it's just
Mhm.
kind of is that like father son kind of type relationship. Um, and even in the grocery store, when Ron stands up for him, you could really see that he's touched by it, right? He's like,
Mhm.
you know, I go through this all the time, and I just don't have the energy to constantly be fighting back against this homophobia just from randoms in the grocery store. Like, I don't care. So I'm not going
Mhm.
to fight this. But the fact that you stood up for me, like that is really meaningful. And it's just such a bonding moment between them as well. So when that happens, we care so much about their relationship so that at the end, like what happens to Rayon is just devastating, man.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, you mentioning how it was more of a submissive, especially near the back end of the movie, because it didn't really start that way. Like the introduction of Ryan was like, let me play some cards, just hustle you out of your money.
Mm-hmm.
And then even like, oh, I'll give you 5%. And just the fact that Ryan's like you can insult me, but 5%?
Yeah.
25 final offer. So like Rayon was like up here and Ron was down here at that like in that initial point where it's like, okay, like Rayon's the one that's kind of handling it. And then you kind of see the switch as like they
Mm-hmm.
started like going in different directions as the movie goes on.
But I think the fact that it's gradual makes it believable. Like that's why I think the nuance was so good with it because you're right. Like when when they first meet playing cards, like he takes his money. When they negotiate their deal together, you know, like 5%. I'm not doing that. Yeah, you can insult me. Like I don't care. Like that's what I say. Like he has that thick skin. But then like when Ron and them form this bond, now he's like kind of let Ron in. So he can be vulnerable with him. So that's when you see like kind of more of that submissive side happen. And because it's gradual, it's not like, wait, why is Rayon just like listening to him right now? Like he was just saying like, no, screw you, I need 25%, but now he's gonna listen to him. Like, no, it's totally believable because Ron earns that trust.
Yeah. And the relationship made sense too, where it's just like I like how they showed us him going through the whole process of him trying to sell to people and it not working.
Right.
And it at first it just kind of seemed like I'm not going to take like this random drug, but then you realize like the context of like, no, we know what a homo person feels like the way you're talking to us. Like we don't care what you're selling us, even if it does work. Like we don't want to give you money. And
Yeah.
Rayan coming in and going to those exact same places, like at the
Mm-hmm.
park and going to the club, and then it's suddenly working. You realize like, oh, okay, this relationship isn't forced. It actually needs to be formed for it to make sense of them going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just great writing. I mean, but you're right. Like you could just feel like, yeah, that intolerance, that homophobicness from Ron. Like I say they could feel it, like the characters in the movie. We could obviously feel it because like we're seeing what he's saying and how he's
Yeah.
talking, and like he gets some crazy stuff out there, man. I have one that's maybe I'm stepping on your quote, but like I'm not when he goes to group meetup for the first time, and the guy comes over to him and is like, "Oh, you must be new around here," and he's just like, "I'll knock your teeth so far down your throat you'll be chewing from your fucking asshole." I was like, Jesus, man! Like this guy was a night. He came to you and just said hi, and he's just so terrible to these people. He was saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, you're saying some wild stuff, man. Like,
And the movie's rated 18A, which is crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty crazy. I guess it's just because not much. There's no nudity. I don't think.
Yeah, there
you
is.
see his
What do you mean?
ass.
No, he's having sex with women. You see boobs.
Oh,
and
yeah,
butts
that's
and
true. Yeah, that's true.
there's
that is
definitely
very true.
there's nudity and drugs and
there's
death
everything.
and like
Not
slurs.
sure there's everything.
I don't know how this isn't rated R, dude.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know how. I guess it's what does make it rated R at this point. I guess it's the violence. I think it's more the violence.
Yeah.
No, because there's blood in this. It's not like gushing blood.
It's like
really
they're throwing up blood, so it's blood by natural causes.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's blood like from like a scar, like when he hits his head. That was a crazy scene when he opens the electrical box. Just
and when there's a dude like with his leg chopped off, like right beside him.
My gosh,
and he's just like drinking. All he's doing is drinking. He's just lying there chilling. Yeah, he just like Ron should have died like 6 times in this movie. Like this guy is just unkillable.
100%. And when he was going through because like we said, we thought he was gonna go on this Marty Supreme run of just being reckless. I was like, don't tell me this guy is good because he's about to find out he has HIV. And then he's gonna have to start having a sex with a bunch of people. I'm like, that is so foul. Like when the strippers come over, I'm like, oh, this is so foul.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping that wasn't going to be what we see. It isn't, but he was almost there for the most part. If he didn't pass out, he probably would have, if anything.
He did like spit on those guys at the bar, like the guys that make fun of him. And that was funny with the running away. Oh, he got in my mouth. Like I need soap.
Yeah, man, it's such a wild time because I always just relate it back to like basketball too. Like people didn't want to play against Magic. They want him sweating on him or anything. Everyone was so nervous. So like it was just so unknown. It was just so fresh at the time, and people were just like it was being associated obviously as like this thing that was happening in the gay community. So everyone was like people are dying from it. So everyone was there was just so much fear and just like unknown about it. That
I think that's the biggest thing is the stakes is like if I get this like there's a high probability that I will die because there was just no treatment. Nobody knew anything except for freaking this doctor in Mexico. This guy knew everything. Like this will work. This won't work. This is great. Like, okay, sure.
Did Magic go? Did Magic go to a Dallas Buyers Club or to a Buyers Club? I don't actually know what he did. He's got money, but
yeah, I figured like just the fact that you have that much money, you had all the. I don't know. He probably went somewhere international and got some stuff.
But I didn't do anything for Eazy-E or Freddie Mercury. That's the crazy thing.
True.
Those guys had money.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just weren't giving it to black people. And I don't know about Freddie's situation. Like, I don't know why.
Magic's black?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
I was okay. Maybe
I guess rappers.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe rappers. That different kind of.
Speaking of doctors, though, let's talk about Eve a little bit. I thought she was great too. So these are 3 main characters, and all of them were really interesting. Like she's very strong-willed. Like there's that moment when Ron comes to the hospital. He's like, I need a doctor right now. And she's like, how can I help you? He said, I need a doctor. You fucking deaf lady?
Oh.
She said, no, I'm a fucking doctor. She said it with her whole chest. I was like, hell yeah. Oh yeah, Eve. I love that. And she's fighting back against like the head doctor or whatever at this hospital that's like, no, just run the ATX. Like we're doing the trials. Just do that. Like he didn't even care that people were dying. Like he's just in it for the money. Like he's kind of the bad guy too. And he's like, I think it's best maybe if you resign. She's like, no, you're going to have to fire me. Like, yeah, I was fucking with Eve.
Yeah, no, Eve was good. And her character, first of all, I didn't know Julia Garner was even in the movie. Yep. So then when she showed up, that was a nice surprise. I was like, okay, that's cool. I didn't know she was in this movie. And even then, I thought her character was going to be very minimal. I thought we were just only going to get her like in kind of like the beginning portion of the movie because like that was like the hospital aspect. But I never thought we were going to come back to that. Like that, we keep coming back to that hospital, and that like comes like a big part of the movie. And to your point, I didn't expect the relationship between her and Ron to evolve the way it did, where it started to become. It felt like it started to become romantic, and
Yeah,
I
I mean,
didn't
they go on a
expect that.
date.
Yeah, but like, there's only so far you can go with that, right? Like they couldn't do anything, have anything like physical.
Physical. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But you're right. Like she clearly cares about I think she I don't really think she sees it as romantic. Obviously he's hitting on her cuz he
Yeah.
loves girls. Like as soon as the one girl that is HIV positive, like the
Oh
first
yeah.
girl ever that walks into the hotel, he starts having sex with immediately. So like this guy for sure he was interested in Eve physically, but I don't really think she was. I think she just their relationship grew from her side anyways because she saw what he was doing for the community, and yes he's making money from it, but at the end of the day it's still having a positive impact. It's still prolonging these people's lives and like making them more comfortable and they're getting better. So I like that she's not just like blindly following the FDA and chasing money. Like no, she cares about what's right too. And it's believable that their relationship, like we were talking about with Rayon and Ron, like on her side, it's believable as well because she's pushing back at first, right? She's like, no, you don't know what these drugs are or who they're helping. Like, you're taking my patients from here, but like, I can't monitor them when they're taking this stuff. You don't know how well, like, the success rate of this stuff. You could be killing people. You don't actually know. So, like, she doesn't just like go right from the hospital like, okay, yeah, let's do this illegal drug thing. Like she's like, nah, I'm pushing back at first, and then she starts to see, okay, no, ATX is actually killing these people and these drugs are actually helping. So like she's reading the reports and everything. Like it feels really earned and totally believable.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, and to your point of saying it's earned, like that slow progress of there being the pushback, because like you said, the way they started, he was disrespecting her, not even believing that she was a doctor. Like, already have that stereotype of like only a woman could be a nurse. So
Mm-hmm.
us starting from there, and then even like the small gesture of him just giving her
The
the
flower
painting, yeah,
picture, yeah.
the flower picture, and just like slowly charming her from that, where it's like, yeah, there is that fine line where it's like it seems like a friendship is growing, but because we know this guy, we've been following this horn dog since the beginning. It's just like, can this guy really just be a friend to a
Yeah.
woman? I don't know. It doesn't seem that way. That's why my mind immediately goes to like, okay, well, this is kind of like a romantic thing because that's the kind of way this guy operates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think from his side, he would love to have this be a physical thing. But I think, I mean, like you said, you kind of expected him to maybe like he has the HIV diagnosis, so he knows he has this. You expected him maybe just go and have sex with people, which you know is not right. Whereas the only person we see him have sex with after that is someone who's already HIV positive. So like the fact that she shows up, he's like, oh, she's got HIV, so I can actually hit. Boom! Like he's actually like so ethically, he's pretty good in that sense. Obviously, he says and does some pretty crazy stuff like throughout the movie and especially at the start. But like from that side of things, he's an ethical guy.
Yeah, no, it's true, and which surprised me because I thought he was just gonna end up being just reckless. And again, we're going based off what they showed to us in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting choice too. Like starting off, we start off with this character, and for so long he is this unlikable character, and you almost think that like I'm just gonna be following this jerk the whole movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
you hope that he's gonna be like redeemed, but maybe it's just one of those stories where like you're kind of just following someone that was like kind of like a piece of trash, and then the story around it is what is more of the things that you grab onto. But it is interesting to see his, as we mentioned earlier, his evolution as a character.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the fact that it's like a slow progress, but the movie is less than 2 hours. So
Yeah,
like the fact that they can achieve that, I guess the movie just is very plot driven. So like they do just jam pack a whole lot of stuff going on, but like the fact that it can feel like gradual and earned, and a lot happens, and it's not like a 3 hour movie is is an achievement. Honestly, that's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. And we talked about a little bit of just like the whole FDA thing, and I didn't dive too deep into like the actual research on the FDA. Like I don't know if you saw anything on it, but like that was interesting to me. Where like I didn't realize that was like a I knew of the FDA, and I know there's always been like these issues, even past just like the AIDS. Like we can even go into like the opioid epidemic that was
Mm.
like a thing that happened like in the early 2000s and went on to the tens and stuff like that with like painkillers and stuff like that. So there's always been this aspect of like, is it to help the people or is it the thing that's going to make the big bucks? And I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was a plot line or like that was I shouldn't even say plotline because bringing it to real life, I didn't realize that was a thing that was happening in real life where there was like this drug that was kind of getting pushed around, and it was like, well, is there a better alternative? So that part was interesting to me.
Yeah, I didn't really read into it, but it maybe I should have, because like it confused me a little bit while I was watching the movie, just kind of like the
Mhm.
legality of the thing. It's like they know, like he's not really hiding it that much. Like this, there's people lined up at this hotel. The IRS even comes to the hotel, so they know where he is. The FDA, like the first time he comes across the border, they find him and they're like, "Hey, like you have these pills and everything, like 3,000 pills." He's like, "Yeah, it's my 9-month supply." But they let him go and they're like, okay, it's unapproved, but it's not illegal, but selling it is illegal. But like, so I guess that's why it becomes like the buyer's club. He's like, okay, we're not selling the drugs, we're selling this membership, and then the drugs are free. But like that just seems like a bullshit loophole. Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
how that actually works.
I guess they establish it because that they mentioned that the drugs aren't illegal, which is interesting because I didn't you only think of that being like a thing where it's like, oh, I'm selling these things. You just think like you just can't sell drugs unless you have like a business or something, which I guess he does have a business, but it just feels strange that he's just like, why? These aren't on the banned substance list, so I can sell these.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's like what is it, a snake oil salesman kind of thing where it's like, oh,
Right.
I'm just selling this thing and like people want to buy it and like they're upset about it because it's making the profits. I think that's mostly the reason why they're pushing back. It's not even so much like you're harming people. It's like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. We don't have a cut
Money.
on that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that's why they're that involved in it. But I mean, if it's not illegal to sell these, or well, the drugs themselves aren't illegal, but they're not being made in the US. Like so like the first batch he just smuggles across from Mexico.
Mm.
But like once he has this whole Dallas Buyers Club and he's got all these people with memberships, there's no way he's just going with his car to get re-ups on this thing. Like for one, they would know at the border. Like I feel like get figured out at some point. And two, I just don't even think that he would have enough supply at that point. Like, so how is he getting all of these drugs and not getting caught?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because they show
Like
it the
they do
one time, like you
mention, they're
said.
like, oh, I have this lab in Seattle or whatever but like, how are they getting the drugs? And then I don't know. That just confused me a little bit.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. But and again, I guess they didn't really go too deep into it. They kind of just showed the process of him going like to Japan and some of those other places.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they didn't want to go too deep into it because it's not as important to the plot.
It's true.
It helps to add that little element of like this little information, a little tidbit, but it doesn't throw the whole story off because we
No,
don't know.
no, you're right. I just like, because obviously, like, these things actually happen in real life.
Mm.
You're right. It doesn't ruin the movie at all. It's not like the whole thing falls apart. Like, how would they actually do this? I don't know. They did it somehow, and I'm just a little confused as to actually how it works. But
Yeah,
whatever.
no, it's fair because they do establish, like, as you were saying, the Mexico thing, like where he gets it from there. But I guess they just didn't want to keep showing him just getting it, bringing it in because like you
Yeah,
said, when you're thinking about it, you're sitting on it, you're like, well, if he already once you get checked once and like they already like, oh, you had all these things, he'd be on a list. So then
exactly.
every single time he'd pass through, they'd be like, okay, this guy kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
And if you did it every 3 months, then you could say, okay, this is my 3 month supply. But like,
mhm.
he would need way more than that for the amount
Yeah.
of people that he's selling to, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know.
I guess we'll have to look it up after.
Yeah. Um, got to shout out the Family Guy moment, Dion. When
Mm.
when he turns it into like a membership based service and like he's explaining it to the lawyer, he's just like, welcome to the Dallas Buyers Club. It's just
Yeah.
that perfect McConaughey delivery, like so
Yeah.
cool and Texan is great.
No, that was great. I had that written down too because that one was like is very apparent. I'm like, okay, there's the Family Guy moment. Yeah,
Yep.
there it is.
Yeah.
Which again, I didn't even know what a Dallas Buyers Club was.
Same.
I didn't know
Yeah.
why the movie was even called that.
No, same. Because like I said, I didn't even know it was involved with AIDS or anything. I had nothing, knew nothing.
That's crazy. You didn't even know it was HIV. You went way more blind than me. That's crazy.
I told you, bro. I knew, okay, it's McConaughey. I've seen the poster. He's like got a cowboy hat on. And we open the movie and he's having sex like at this rodeo. So I thought rodeo was going to be like a bigger deal in the movie. Like it's just kind of like something that he likes. But I was like, okay, maybe he's going to be, you know, going to different rodeos and like having sex with girls. And I literally had no idea, bro.
That's not a bad thought. I thought the rodeo was going to be a bigger part of it too. We just racing it at the beginning and the end. Like I thought it was actually going to be like this is his side hustle thing that we're going to see him do throughout the movie. But yeah, not even a thing.
Yeah.
Basically not even a thing. And what did you think? Why did you think he was skinny? Like, did you at least know that part that he lost a lot of weight for this movie, like going in?
Not really. I mean, you can see on the poster that he's pretty skinny, but like he's really skinny. And at the start of the movie, you see him. He's just drinking, like having sex. You see him at like his house. It's obviously he's not like super wealthy. You know what I mean? So like I thought it was just like, okay, he's drinking, doing drugs, having sex, and probably not eating very well. I just assumed he was skinny because of that.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't sure if you even knew like the extent. Again, we say it's not machinist level where it's just like you saw maybe a picture of him shirtless, but yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I was just kind of curious to see like what your thought process was going in. Did you have any other thoughts or last points?
I have a little trivia for you, Dion.
Okay.
But real quick before we get into that, I just wanted to shout out quickly when Ron and Rayon are like dealing with they're creating their partnership, and Rayon's like walking down the sidewalk and Ron's like following him in the car, and we just have like the shot from the passenger seat kind of following him, and like Rayon keeps passing behind like cars and stuff. I don't know, like I was expecting him to like stop at one of them and just like be hidden behind like this car or something. I just thought it was a fun shot.
Okay, no, it was a fun shot. I thought like Ron was doing a little much. I'm like, yo, like you're basically a drug dealer and you're screaming at someone. Like, why? It's a little sus.
Come on,
bro.
I'll cut you in 5%.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, like, calm down, bro. Like, this is a little. The blocks are hot right now. You're on a list.
True. Yeah. Hey, he really doesn't hide it that much. I don't know.
No, he does not.
Which is again why the legality of it I kind of question, but oh well. Yeah. So yeah, I just gotta. It's not really anything. Like it's not a parlay like I like to do or anything. It's literally just 3 trivia questions.
Okay. It's like a multiple choice kind of thing, or it's just like I gotta.
I guess so. The first question.
Okay. Is
McConaughey and Leto won Oscars for Best Actor and Best Supporting. This has only happened 6 times in history that both awards from the same movie have won. So it's happened 6 times. Can you name one of the other times?
Like name the movie?
Name the movie that won for Best Actor and Best Supporting. It's happened 6 times, including this. Can you name one of the others?
Can I ask you 3 hint questions to try like narrow down like in a time frame? Because this is like
I know it's
over 100-year period of movies being made.
Well, the honestly, Academy I have the full list, but I have the full list, but there's realistically probably only one that you would get, maybe 2, but
okay, I'll ask. So I don't want to stretch. I won't stretch it out too long. I'll ask 3 hint questions, and then I'll just give an answer based off that. Is there any movie that came out in the 90s?
No.
Oh, none of them. This didn't happen in the 90s.
Nope.
Okay. 2000s?
Yes.
Okay, and is it by a director that we've mentioned in this podcast? We said a couple directors.
In this episode or the podcast, like ever?
In this episode. I don't know if you remember the people we've said in this episode.
One of them for sure. Let me check this.
Okay.
Directed by. Hold on.
I thought you had the movies. I thought you did movies in front of you.
I don't have the directors of all of them written in front of me.
Okay, well, clearly these movies aren't that. If you don't remember the directors, then it's not.
One of them, yes. One of them, yes. We've mentioned.
Okay, well, I don't think this is it, but I'm gonna guess it anyway because I asked my 3 questions.
Yeah, just throwing out there.
That threw me off because I thought it was gonna be a 90s movie, so I thought I was locked in.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I was thinking Forrest Gump for some reason,
So
but because I know that won a lot of. I don't know who else would have been. That is true. I don't know who would have been supporting. That's why I was a little thrown off. And I knew it wasn't Pulp Fiction because I know Forrest Gump clapped its cheeks that year for for winning Oscars. There Will Be Blood.
Okay, that's your guess.
That's my guess.
How much was the monthly membership to the Dallas Buyers Club?
$400. I think it's $400.
Okay. And how much is Rayon's friend paying him or her or them to split his AZT dose with him? You know, when he meets him at the hospital, he says, my friend's paying me to split my dose with him because he's there for the trials.
I think it's $5,000.
Okay. So you went 2 for 3. You were right on the membership, $400. You were right on the $5,000. Nice memory. When did you watch this movie? Was it just like yesterday or?
No, I actually watched it like 3 days ago.
Okay, nice memory. Nice work. It was not There Will Be Blood. So I'll go in order from earliest to latest. And
okay.
So the first time that a movie won for Best Actor and Best Supporting was Going My Way in 1944. Didn't expect you to get that one.
No.
The next, it was The Best Years of Our Lives in 1946.
Okay.
Didn't expect you to get that one either. Ben-Hur, 1959. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't seen it either, but I know heard of that movie. And I knew it won a decent amount of awards. It's actually on my watch list. But all right, next.
Next is Mystic River, 2003. That's the one I had to Google to see who. Clint Eastwood directed that.
Once you went to Google, I was like, I know this isn't going to be what I'm thinking. Because you wouldn't have Googled Paul Thomas Anderson for There Will Be Blood. That's why I was like, no. It's not that. That's why I just threw it out there.
If you were thinking Forrest Gump, who directed Forrest Gump?
Zach.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
I forget his name. It's the guy that directed Back to the Future, and he directed a bunch like Castaway. Hazuki?
Robert Zemeckis. Yeah.
Robert Zemeckis.
Right.
I don't know.
Riziki?
I don't know why.
And finally,
he's notable.
This is the only one that you could have gotten, I think. Well, realistically, was Oppenheimer.
Damn. Yeah.
Cillian Murphy and RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr. Damn. Yeah,
we did mention Nolan at some point early in the episode, I think.
Yeah, we did.
So that's why I said.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Well, hey, 2 for 3. That was pretty good.
2 out of 3, yeah. 2 or 3 is not bad. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. That was a very good question, the first one. I mean, they're all good questions, but that was the one that stumped me. The other one that were good questions, but I knew them, so like it didn't stump me. With that first one, I was like, got the brain noodling around.
Yeah, the second and third were more just like, will you remember the specifics of this movie? Because it's kind of inconsequential, right? It's like, what was he made it a membership, but whatever it costs, it doesn't really matter to the movie. It's just if you remember the little thing. Same thing with like Rayon's friend splitting the dose with him. And the Oscars thing, I kind of figured, like I said, Oppenheimer, if Oppenheimer wasn't in there, I probably wouldn't even ask the question because it's just like, you just probably wouldn't got it. And not because you're dumb or anything, but just because like as we establish all the time in this process, we don't really care that much about the Oscars. So it's not like we're Oscar historians. So like we would remember that kind of thing. But I just thought it was interesting.
No, it's a good question. Very good, very good questions.
Do you have anything else though?
No, that's it. I think it's time.
Time for the Filmmies.
Time for the Filmmies.
All right, welcome to the Filmmies, ladies and gentlemen. This is our award show that we do at the end of every episode. We got 6 awards. We're going to jump straight into it with the first award being the Fit Check. this is the best or worst fit of the movie. I'm very curious to see. There's actually quite a few fits getting off in this movie. So where'd you go with it? Who gets your fit check?
I gave mine to Ron.
Okay.
And you're good. You have a good point. There was a lot of fits that definitely could have been given out. There was a lot of I debated
Rayon
on
was
this.
getting some fits off.
Yeah, Rayon was getting some. That was my main thing. I was Rayon's getting a lot of fits off. I didn't know where to go with that. But I ended up going with Ron. I liked like kind of the suit he had. It was like kind of like a red suit. He had to open when he gave the flower painting to Eve. I don't know. I really liked that. And I don't know if it also had to do with just like the scene. Because if it was a moment in time when it was like, hey, our character's like really evolved. He's kind of like a nice guy now. So I think that kind of added to like the aura of the fit, where it's like he's got this nice fit on. He's giving the flower, just kind of like a funny bit that he's doing. And it's like, hey, I got you these flowers. And it's just like our character's changed. He's more likable at this point. And I just thought it was a nice fit. Because especially before that, like when we were seeing him in the early stages, this guy was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, he just was like jeans and like a ripped up t-shirt or something. Yeah, 100%. That's a good fit. You're right. Like that scene to me anyways kind of came out of nowhere. Like he just like comes out in this nice suit, grabs these flower painting, and then he's just at dinner with Eve. I was like, oh, maybe they cut out a scene where like he asked her on a date or something. There is a moment when I think he's in the hospital and he's like, hey, do you want to, you're always dressed like in white and gray, like at the hospital. You want to go out for steak? I know it's red, but so I guess he does, but like she doesn't say yes. So it just felt a little out of nowhere, but he's got a good fit.
No, he just, I was feeling it. What about you though? Where did you lean towards?
I'm gonna certify. I had the exact same fit, dude.
I swear I saw your hand on the button.
Yeah, I started to move my hand, to the button because as soon as you said you were giving it to Ron, I was pretty sure that was going to be that we were going to have the right fit check or a certified. Because Rayon had some good fits he could have gone with, but like the burgundy suit, the white shirt, the pop collar, the collar pop, and also you got the big ass cowboy hat on top to finish the look. So it was like the white cowboy hat to go with the white shirt. I didn't really peep the shoes. I'm guessing maybe he had some cowboy boots on.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't think they even really showed the shoes. I don't know if we got like a full pullback to see the shoes. I assume you're right. They're probably just cowboy shoes.
It's clean. It's clean fit.
It was a clean fit. He came correct for that day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. Next, we got our Ferris Bueller Award. So this is our lazy award. Something that someone did in the movie that we consider lazy. Didn't ruin the movie. It's just something for fun. Who gets your lazy award?
So it also goes to Ron.
Okay.
And it's for not having a better story at the border to me, where he's pretending to be like a nun, not a nun, sorry, a priest or a father or whatever, same thing. Well, I guess not necessarily the same thing, but he's saying that he has cancer, and why not just say you have like HIV? Because at that point, it's just like, are people thinking like you need all these drugs when you have cancer? Like it just didn't seem believable. I was like, you really thought this was going to be something like, oh, okay, the guy's got cancer. That's why he has all these cases and cases. Like, I feel like they'd be like, I don't know if that's a thing. That doesn't seem realistic. You're coming from Mexico with all these things. You're telling me you have cancer. Like, I don't know about that.
Wouldn't they be like, show me your prescription or something? Like,
yeah, like I just feel like it's in general, regardless of whether he says it's him actually having HIV or being cancer. I feel like he could have had a better. If you're gonna go dress up in a costume, I assume that what you're about to say next is gonna be something really concrete. But him just being like, "Yeah, these are all for me. I gotta take like 30 in a day," and it's just like that just does not sound believable.
Or have an excuse that's tied to your costume. Like if you're like, okay, I'm a cancer patient, I take 30 pills. Why are you a priest? That doesn't have to do with anything. You know what I mean? I will say, because I think there's a point that's mentioned. I think it's the doctor in Mexico. He's like, don't tell them you have HIV because they won't let you back in.
Okay.
So I think that's why he didn't say I have AIDS. But you're right. He could have still had something better than like, why are you a priest if you're just saying you're a cancer patient?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just that's why I had to give him a fair, because I just feel like he just didn't think that out enough.
It was kind of funny though, like the later in the movie when he comes through the airport again, and like we found out that he stole Eve's prescription pad. That was a cool little twist that I didn't see coming. And then he's like, these are all names from the Dallas Cowboys. He's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And he's like, well, this is just a coincidence. Can you prove these are real people? He's like, well, can you prove they're not? And he was just like, damn, well, shit, I guess not.
That was
funny.
also that was my honorary Ferris, where I was like, that's also pretty lazy too.
Yeah.
Where like having them be names of famous of athletes instead of just making up random names, it would have been just as easy.
Of the football team of the city you're flying into.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on, bro. Yeah, that's funny too.
What about you though? What was your Ferris go to?
I kind of went the similar route, but from the other side. So I gave it to Richard, who's the FDA guy.
Mm.
And like you had Ron at the border with these 3,000 pills, and he said like, yeah, I'm going to use them all for myself. And so he says them to his face. He says, if we catch you selling these, we're going to send you to jail for a long time. And like the next day he's at the park selling them out of the trunk of his car. Like and then he has this whole business at the hotel. Like he's not really hiding it.
Nope.
He like, if we catch you selling them, how are you not catching him selling them? It's pretty easy. So to me, it's just lazy and not following through on his threat.
Yeah, and it goes to our point earlier where we were talking about how like he was like screaming at Rayon in public. I'm like, bro, you were just at the border, and they said if we catch you, you're going to prison for a long time, and you're screaming about I'll get you in for 5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
good thing there was no FDA guys around at that point. But like you make this threat like, oh, if we catch you, we're not actually gonna check, but like if somehow we catch you, I don't know, man.
No, that's
put a tail on that guy. 3,000 pills at the border.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they call him with one box. Like, well, if we catch you, you'd think they'd be on the radar. Like, let's look at him for like in the next week at least and see if he's doing anything. They didn't even do that. So to your point, there's the laziness. Like these guys putting out threats, but he's not actually putting in the work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like if we catch you, and then it's like, oh, he's doing it. He's like,
I didn't see it. Whatever. Let's just make some more money from this ATX trials.
Exactly. That's a good pick.
Next, we got our Peyton Pritchard Award. This is our sixth man. Someone with a small role in the movie that did the most with that small opportunity and stood out. We want to show some love to. So, who gets your sixth man?
So mine goes to Eve Bellinger, who's actually the DP for the movie. And I mentioned it earlier, like I teased a little bit where I said like I liked that handheld camera aspect to it, where it kind of felt like a third person was kind of in the room, like a documentary style. And it wasn't because I was trying to like put my finger on like what I liked about the style of it, because it started to really be apparent to me as the movie kept going forward of just like obviously there's a connection with the director and the DP. I feel like we always say that every single time when we give the DP some love, but I feel like there's this creative aspect to it. And I looked up some of his work where it's like, okay, he's someone that definitely has his own kind of style that he puts his imprint on the movies he makes. And I just thought the way we got those moments of it, we got kind of like those hard transition cuts too, where it's like he'd pass out, blackout, or like he'd get the box like electrocution in the face, and then it cut into the next thing. And like I just liked the way the movie looked in those aspects, so I wanted to give him some love for that.
Yeah, it's a good shout out. I mean, like we talked about in the general thoughts, was just the feel of like a documentary style. It feels, I think that makes it feel really grounded too, which helps to make us care about these characters because they feel a little bit more like real people and not like fictional characters. So yeah, it's a good shout.
It's funny, like I was waiting for you to say that because I want to hear what your response is. Like literally the next thing I had was grounded, and then you said it. I'm like, yeah, you said it for me. But that's another aspect of it that I think really works, where it feels grounded because it's shot like that. And there was one specific shot too that I thought was really dope, where again it feels like someone is just like documenting like from these different angles of these people, where it's like, okay, now we're gonna follow Rayon's story. Let's go see him, like meet his father. It's like, hey, go talk to your father. Let's see you confront him for the first time. Like it feels like that kind of documentary where it's just like, okay, now we're gonna be with him.
Kind of
yeah, and like every time he passed out, it felt like one of these. I don't know why I think of Super Size Me, where it's like, okay, we're gonna eat like 10 burgers, whatever. It's just like, okay, I think I'm gonna be sick. Let's cut the cameras off. Where it felt like, okay, let's follow Rayon for like this day, and it's like, okay, he passed out. Let's move on. Okay, he got knocked out. Let's move on to the next thing. And it kind of felt like there was like a documentary cool just like following this guy. It's like, oh man, like this guy's a mess. It's like, okay, he passed out. Let's wait till he wakes up, and then we'll get back when we're at the hospital. And then it comes back, and then we're back, and then we're in the hospital. It felt like that, and like you said, it made it feel like these characters were just like we're following these characters for real.
You know what I think of too, and especially like an American movie like this, like this guy's spending so much time in the hospital. What are his hospital bills like? Does he have to pay for it each time? Like
that is
like
true.
Obviously once he sets up the Dallas Buyers Club, then he has a lot of money. But like early on, he's hustling. He's like stealing from people at the rodeo. Like could he afford all this stuff? Like did they just keep bringing him back? I don't know exactly how it works in the U.S. Like if you have outstanding hospital bills, will they then not admit you? But like they just kind of like skate past it like nothing.
It is a good point. It's those tough things because then we're also going back like to 1985 or whatever it is, right? So like, was it as crazy as it was like the medical bills as it is like kind of now? Like we get there's the little part of like the guy that's his leg is getting like crushed, but that was more so because he was like an illegal. It wasn't more so like someone get hit by a car. It's like, no, don't call the cops. Like I don't call the I can't afford it.
Exactly. That's
I'm
crazy,
gonna be,
man.
Yeah.
As we sit here in Canada and you need an ambulance, call an ambulance. But yeah, if you're like, oh man, I'm getting pneumonia, well, now I'm $100,000 in debt. That
yeah,
sucks.
exactly. No, exactly. So that is a good point, though. I didn't even think about that his hospital bill, but he kind of had money all around. Like I don't know, it was hard to tell, but like he's like open up things, which is such a weird way to have your money. It's just like it's in this case. It's like under the bed here. It's like all these different places.
Yeah. He seems like the kind of guy that doesn't trust banks.
That is fair. And just like in the fear of like, well, if I get robbed, they'll just steal that one stash versus like me having it all in one spot.
A couple other backups.
Let me like scatter it around. Yeah. But what about you though? Where'd you go with your? Oh yeah. Before I go, there's the shot I want to talk about. There's the shot when like he comes with the sombrero and he puts it on her head, and it actually like covers the camera, and then she takes it off, which I was like, that's a cool, just like a little stylistic shot.
Yeah. Well, it's not only stylistic, it's narrative too, because that's how he steals the pad from her, right? Like he covers her eyes with the big hat, steals the prescription pad, and that's how he smuggles the drugs in later. Because I thought at first, I was like, this big ass hat is taking up the whole screen. Like, what is this just like some obnoxious thing? And then it comes back, and I was like, oh, that's how he stole the thing.
Yeah, so I wanted, but that is a good point. I actually forgot that it was like his little diversion thing. That is a good point. But what about you though? Who was it?
2 for 1.
Who was your sixth man?
I gave it to Dr. Vass, who's the doctor in Mexico that he, like this guy was just ahead of all the American doctors. Like Eve and everyone's running around like could be ATX, like we'll try it, and then we find out maybe it's not working. This guy was like, nah, that stuff's garbage. That's killing you. You got to be doing. You need peptide T, and you need this, and you need that, and this. He just knew everything. This guy was just like an expert in all things HIV, and he knew what worked, what did it. He was helping people in the warehouse. Right? He's like, oh, they took away my license because I know all this stuff, and the FDA is the bad guys. They're not getting any money off of it, so they took away my license, so now I got to work in this shithole. But like, he's in like this warehouse or this meat packing factory or something, running this clinic and saving lives. Like, hell yeah, Dr. Vass.
That's a great pick, honestly. Yeah, because he just came in and he just did his business, and he's a dope character. There's nothing not to like about him. He's kind of funny. Like, that's a great pick. That's underrated character.
100%. That's why I wanted to show him some love. That actually reminds me, just like thinking of like the warehouse and stuff. Like when Ron, he kind of just like gets up and goes to this room with all the butterflies because they found out like this caterpillar makes some kind of oil or something that helps. So like there's all this room full of butterflies. He just kind of stands in there for a minute. Was that like just like this visually artistic moment, or do you think there was any kind of symbolism behind that?
That's a good question, because I was wondering that too, to be honest. I couldn't think of anything. Like I was trying to like we're talking about this whole like evolution, like caterpillar to butterfly.
Yeah.
At that point, was that like Ron of like, was that his full evolution? I feel like he probably still had more. He was still growing as the movie continued, but like maybe that was like a some kind of
Yeah.
transformational thing.
I think if anything, that's probably what it is. It's a little on the nose for just like a a caterpillar then goes into a cocoon and emerges as a butterfly. Like we've seen that in like a gajillion movies and
Yeah.
stories, like as a symbolism for transformation. But like it would make sense, I guess, in his character arc, but it also feels really out of place in this movie. Like we just talked about how grounded it is in like documentary style, and then you put in this like artsy symbolic butterfly scene in there. So like if it does mean that, it's just kind of it did feel a little out of place, I won't lie.
Yeah, it looked cool.
It
It was
did
just
look
like
cool.
it felt like one of those things where like if this was like an art house movie, you expect a lot of those kind of shots throughout a movie where someone would just be
Right.
like randomly on a boat and it's just completely isolated and the sunset's perfect or something like that. We're just like, oh, that's a cool shot. Like, why not? Let's do it. Like a la what's it called? Project Hail Mary. It's like I'm having a moment.
Having a moment.
That he could have been like, and the doctor could have put like, what are you doing? I'm having a moment. It's the butterflies. It'd be like we just like, all right, he's having a moment. We're accepting it.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. There is one thing though that I did see there was symbolism to of with just like the bull riding aspect to it. I saw the director say that he threw that in because Ron in real life, that wasn't part of his job. Like they had nothing to do with bull riding or anything like that. But he's like, I wanted to add that part in as like kind of like a symbolism of like riding the bull was kind of like his fight with like HIV. And it's just like holding on as long as you can kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
That one's not as on the nose too, where it's just like it feels like, oh, it's just kind of there. Why is it even there? But then when I heard him say that, I'm like, okay, I could see that connection. And then having it wrap up at the end too, where it's like, hold on for as long as you can. Kids be like, why is this guy that has HIV bull riding? Like he's already battling for his life. Why do something like this? But
go and get curb stomped by a bull. After that. But no, you're right. Like you're right. It's not as on the nose as the butterflies, and it also fits with the movie. Like we're in Dallas, Texas. The guy like just is like a cowboy kind of dude. Like he wears the cowboy hats and like just the like macho conservative, like homophobic type of way that he is. I feel like, I mean, I don't want to speak ill of people that go to the rodeo. I've never really been to a rodeo, but I feel like that's the kind of stuff, especially in the 80s. That's probably kind of the way things were. So it didn't feel out of place.
No, for
in
sure.
that aspect, and it was more original. Like I never thought about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thought it was interesting.
That's cool.
Connection that I wouldn't have made it if I didn't hear him say that. But
yeah. Best quote. What was your favorite quote?
So my favorite quote went to Rayon, and this is why I remembered why I remembered your question.
Okay.
Because after they play cards and he asked him if he could get in on that, he's like, "Is anyone who plays cards like you don't have 5K?" So that's why I remembered. That's why I remember because I was like, "Damn, bro." I was like, Rayon got on his ass. That's dissing him from one game, bro. I had one bad game, and now I just don't. Now I just can't play. All right, that's fair. But that's why I remembered. That's why I remembered.
True. Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be your quote, so I thought, yeah, you're right. Easy to remember, but I mean, hey, that's what I was saying. Like Rayon, like early on, like has that thick skin, right? Because Ron's being a dick to him because he's homophobic. So when he takes his money and then he's like, "Oh, screw you! You're being asked to me. I would be asked to you. You play cards like that? You don't got 5K. Hell yeah, Rayon, stick up for yourself."
No, exactly. That's why I had to, because there was a lot of great quotes, but I don't know, that one's more like an early one I heard and I wrote it down, and I just liked it. I just liked the playfulness, and I thought Rayon again at that point was gonna have a smaller role. I was like, oh, can I give some love to Jared Leto's character because that was a funny quote, but that was a quote that I was not expecting him to just roast him like that. Especially sick in a bed and he's just got beat up for his cards and his money, and it's also adding on a roast. So shout out Rayon for that quote.
Yeah, I mean, quote. That's kind of how the way you go. You just write down cool ones or funny ones or interesting ones as they go, and then that's how I do it, anyways. And then like I read through them at the end and be like, okay, which one do I actually want to pick? So that's the one that stuck with you. I went with one to Ron. And he says it to Eve when he checks himself out of the hospital. and he says, "Sorry, lady, but I prefer to die with my boots on."
Mm.
I just thought that was kind of tough. And one, yeah, it's just a tough bar. Two, it shows exactly who this guy is. Like, he's a fighter, and he's like, "Hey, if I'm gonna die, if I only got 30 days, if that's true, and I'm gonna die from this thing, then I'm not just gonna lie here and be comfortable." You know, she said, "We can give you drugs, we can make you comfortable." He's like, "I'm just gonna sit around. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna live. I'm a fighter. This is who I am. I'm Ron. I'm Ron Woodruff, and I'm gonna die with my boots on." I like
Yeah,
that.
that's a tough line. Yeah, then I do like that, and which is again, I didn't know if he was gonna make it past 30. I thought this movie was lit. It's gonna be we're gonna watch him until he dies in the 30 days. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, bro. Maybe you might not make it in those 30 days. Like people are dying out here, and this is not everyone comes back from this. Not everyone can make it like magic.
No, exactly. Or like
Yeah.
Ron Woodruff. That guy's immortal, dude. We see him like you said, the electrical box. There's a time where he in the airport, like he goes into the bathroom and he has like a heart attack or something. He's passing out in the street. Like, constantly this dude is just like waking up in the hospital and he refuses to die.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, I got 9 lives.
Yeah, exactly. Best scene. What was your favorite scene?
So my best scene was actually the grocery store scene that we talked about when Ron sees his old friend, and then at first he's not like, because like their last meeting was like in the bar when they're all like making fun of him and stuff,
Mm.
and like he just like, I screw these guys. But then he saw him in the grocery store, and then he started talking shit on Rayon, and he was like, "Oh, shake her hand, right?" And he's just like, "No, I'm not doing it." And he puts him like in the headlock, and we talked about this scene, and he like forces him to, and it just wasn't what I expected. Like, I didn't expect him to go that far with it, and I liked it because it really established the evolution of that character without doing the thing you mentioned earlier, where you were saying, "You know what? Gay people aren't that bad."
Yeah, exactly.
You don't gotta do all of that. Like, you can have them, you can show it. You can have our
Right.
character do something that really shows it. And he really went for it in showing that he's changed.
Yeah, no, it's a great scene. You could probably see my hand reaching for the button because that I'm certified that as well. That was also my favorite scene. Yeah, like I also like the start of the scene. It's kind of comedic at the start, like when he notices like the garbage food. He's like, "Oh, approved by the FDA. Yeah,
Yeah.
go figures." And Rayon's like, "No, take it. It'll be good." Yeah, sees his whole friend and calls talking bad about Rayon, and you're right. Like, it's such a great moment between them that really evolves both characters, I think, and mostly their connection to each other. And like I said, just coming in blind in this movie, I didn't expect this at all. I didn't expect to be like to really care about these characters. I mean, it was in the drama division of our Real March Madness, so I
Yeah.
guess there's normally some emotion to be had in dramas, but I just wasn't expecting it. Like, to see that growth in this character, to see like at early on in this movie, if his friend was like, "Oh, look at this guy over here," Ron would have said the same thing. Like, "Yeah, oh yeah, they're everywhere. It's an epidemic. Like, it's crazy out here in Dallas." That just to see the difference in the character in a way that doesn't feel forced, and then seeing Rayon's reaction to it too, just seeing like them look at Ron and kind of have that like glimmer of admiration of like, "Wow, like you really care about me. Like, you're actually sticking up for me in this moment." Like, I love that.
Yeah. No, it's a really great scene. And yeah, no, that's all I can say. I mean, so we both were certified on it. So
Yeah.
great scene.
Yeah, it was a tough one to pick though. I thought about Rayon and his dad too. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. I did think about that too, because like I said, the bar that he threw at the beginning too kind of set the table of it.
Yeah.
Was good. But yeah, there's a lot of great scenes. Honestly, it actually was kind of tough to pick, but this one for whatever reason just resonated with me, and I was like, yeah, that one just feels right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which finally brings us to our last award, being the MVP. Who's your most valuable performer? We always just say MVP. I don't even know. Do we most valuable player is kind of where it comes from.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. But in this sense, I guess, yeah, performer,
Yeah,
whatever.
performer, whatever.
We just throw
Who's your
MVP out
MVP?
there, and sometimes it doesn't even matter because you can say
Yeah,
who's
you
the
know what it
MVP
means.
for
Everybody
yeah,
knows what that
exactly,
means.
most valuable, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Everybody knows what
I
it
gave
means.
it to Jared Leto, and it kind of ties back to the person that said the thing on Reddit where it's just like, you know what? I guess I can't lose all hope in Jared Leto. Where it's just
Yeah.
like he was just completely lost in this character, and I think a big part of it, as I established earlier, I didn't even realize his role was that big in the movie. Like I thought, like to even say, like clearly he is a supporting character, but he's in it so much. Like once he gets in it, like he's in it, and it's like then obviously the character passes away, but he's in it so much that I was like, well, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to give him a 6 man because that's where I was leaning. But as the movie kept going on, I'm like, okay, yeah, like he's going, and I know that the best we're talking about the track record of like he went through that stint, obviously the Morbius. I don't actually know if he was bad in Tron. I just know the movie didn't do well. I can't put that all on him. I thought he was pretty good in Blade Runner 2049. He's in Fight Club, really. He's got a small role in that though.
Justice
He's in
League sucked.
Yeah, but that's not really on him though.
Did you like his Joker?
Well, you're talking about the Justice League. I think it'd be more Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
you're right.
Suicide Squad when he's a Joker. That's a whole other conversation against that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really love that Joker that much. I don't think it was bad. I just think when I think specifically at the time that people just didn't want to see that type of Joker. I guess like that depiction of the Joker isn't horrible. Like having like this gangster Joker, it's just so different.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think people were gonna hate it regardless. I think it's the same thing that what's his name, Andrew Garfield got. You're the first person after what we loved. Ben Affleck got that too. We love Christian Bale. Whoever's the next Batman, we're not going to love. Whoever the next Spider-Man, we're not going to love. Whoever the next Joker, we're not going to love. And that's always going to be that thing. He's got to be one extra person after. I was like, okay, like we like Tom. Okay, we like what's it called? What Patterson's doing? The next Joker. Oh,
Barry
yeah, we
Keoghan,
loved Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, true. Yeah, Joaquin.
So like you need a little, but there needs to be a little buffer in between where it's just like we need to hate on the thing right after, and then give us, and then with the thing afterwards we're gonna enjoy. So I think he got in a rough situation with that. He's also an American Psycho too. He's kind of small in that, but I don't think he's a bad actor. But I think Morbius didn't do him well, and the Joker thing wasn't great. But in this, funny, tragic, likable, well-deserved award that for this and for the Oscar.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, well, you're getting a Filmie coming to you that you could put right next to that Oscar, Jared Leto. And it's a certified one because he is also my MVP. Another triple. That's back-to-back triple certifieds, man.
That's crazy.
We are cooking right now.
On a roll.
Yeah. Amazing performance. I think like the character itself is really great too, which really helps. But like the nuance of the thick skin, like taking insults with the vulnerability and the submissiveness, I thought was really, really great. I read that he went full method actor. Like he refused to drop the character throughout the entire shoot. He lost 30 pounds, shaved his eyebrows, and waxed his entire body for the role. So if it feels wrong to not at least mention Matthew McConaughey here, because he was great as well.
No, for sure.
But like Jared Leto just like fully stood out to me. Like obviously like the makeup and the wearing dresses and like just the full commitment to the role and like fully immerse himself. Like the little body language things like I talked about in the grocery store, like seeing just the way he react to what Ron did for him in the scene with his dad, the way he kind of like breaks down in a moment when he's with someone that obviously doesn't actually, I wouldn't say doesn't care for him at all because it's his dad, but just there's so much subtlety in the performance. It's so good. He's just great.
Yeah. And it's just, I saw like a quick interview of him talking about that process of like going into it. And I saw the director said that like his audition was kind of just him coming in. He just started hitting on the director as Rayon.
That's hilarious.
And Matthew McConaughey was just like, he's like, yeah, I remember when he first did it, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And then Matthew was like, well, clearly it worked. It worked on you. It's just like, but it's just kind of funny. I wish I could see that audition.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't read
Rayon.
that, but that's really funny. I just read that like the crew, the director, and everyone was saying like we just didn't even meet Jared.
Yeah,
like until months after, like when they were doing, I guess, like press or like promo for the movie, like, and he's out of character. So that's when we met Jared Leto, because before that he was literally just Rayon.
That's crazy. Yeah, just completely locked in the whole time. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't even know that he did method for that. It's impressive.
Yeah. And that's like a a character that's just so different than who you are. I mean, I don't know Jared Leto personally, but he's not
Yeah.
trans, so like that's
Yeah.
obviously a big difference right there. So like just doing that method, I feel like is difficult. Like, do you
Oh,
think
for sure.
I don't know, went to the bathroom differently and like I don't know, was full like
I guess
do
so.
trans people even go to the bathroom different? Maybe not. Maybe
I
it's all
don't
the
know.
same. And until you get the surgery, I guess it's the same. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like I always find it interesting when people do that or when actors do that because I always wonder like where you find that line where you don't go too far with it. Cause I remember even Lakeith Stanfield in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, he plays a character that's like he obviously playing a black character, but he's playing like a character that's racist and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and like it's kind of like almost like a I don't want to say like a Uncle Ruckus, but like someone that does like kind of does something against black people, and he
Mm-hmm.
says he went so far into it to try to like get into that character that he felt like bad about himself. Where it's like how like with those kind of characters when you're playing someone that's like despicable and then you suddenly have to get in a despicable mindset, like, and then you have to get out of it. But it's just like I spent so much time in a despicable mindset. It's like it's finding that tough balance, like where you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go full Heath Ledger with it and like Joker, where
Yeah.
it always
That's what I
so
was just about to
interesting.
say. Like Heath Ledger, and obviously, that had a lasting impact on
Yeah,
him. So he, would end up happening. So like you, it's a fine line because you want to give a great performance, but if it's going to be at the detriment of your real life health or like mental
yeah,
health, is it worth it? Like if you're going to end up committing suicide, then definitely not.
yeah.
It's definitely
No, for
not
sure.
worth it.
Yeah,
And for Jared Leto, it's not like that's not what this character is. This character
no,
isn't
for sure.
isn't
No, it's not a despicable
despicable.
character.
No, it
No.
doesn't do anything. But like, I just wonder, like, was he sleeping like in a nightgown? You think, like, or,
Yeah, no, for sure.
like
No,
just for
100%.
fully method? Like, I am trans. I'm gonna wear the dresses and all the wigs and all this stuff. I don't know.
I think the only thing is just it's more so because you have to understand that character and the grief and the emotional weight that character has. So I think more so I think of it with that, like this is a tragic character, so then you and stuff have to embody these tragic traits, and you're
Mm-hmm.
also a drug addict, so then you kind of have to like do a little research on how drug addicts act, and then you kind of have to like have these feelings and like you have to act a certain way. So like I feel like that's where it gets a little tough, where it's like I didn't even know anything about people, how they dealt with these kind of emotions and these kind of drugs, but now I'm taking that all in so I can understand this character, which that I feel like can be like detrimental.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I read that he had all these interviews with like trans people
Hmm.
to kind of get their perspective. But I feel like it also like in 2013 would be a little bit better than, than it was in the 80s. So like
Yeah.
you don't get exactly that. I suppose you could talk to maybe people that were trans at the time
Yeah.
and kind of get their perspective of what it was like
Hmm.
what people the things that people were calling them and all that stuff to kind
Yeah.
of really feel like you say the tragedy of that,
Hmm.
which like you said just being in like that negative state of mind for such a long time, but also like the character like we said like has that thick skin, so you also like you don't get like when you're actually on set and you're filming those scenes, you still get to feel a little bit confident and proud of
Yeah.
yourself, so like it's not all negative,
Yeah. It's up and
which
down.
helps.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think definitely does help. But Jared Leto,
Certified MVP.
certified MVP. We got 3 certifieds. Like you
Nice
said,
work.
we back. We back.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we can keep that up. Again, thankfully we didn't get all 6 because then the show would end.
That's right.
So we'll see how it go as we go going forward. Do you have any final well, I guess final thoughts now? I'll just go into just if you
Well,
want to stay connected. Oh, so you're gonna say?
I was just gonna say, good pick, Film Family
Okay.
on
Yeah,
the
true.
on the Real March Madness. Like, there's a movie that we both hadn't seen, so we just kind of threw it up there. It's what won the vote, and great choice. It was a great movie.
Yeah, thank you everyone that voted. And
Yeah.
the voting isn't, well, I guess by the time this comes out, all the voting will be final. But stay tuned for more votes. Like obviously, if you come along for next year, we want to keep doing these real March Madness brackets.
Mhm.
But throughout the year, we obviously want to do more brackets too. Whatever we can, doesn't necessarily have to be a bracket, but just polls. Like, hey
Yeah,
guys, we
sometimes
got
we
these
do the
3
poll,
movies,
yeah.
these 2 movies. Like we do it for
What should we do?
Halloween. We've done it
Yeah.
for Valentine's Day before. Like sometimes we're feeling a poll. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Usually the polls are on Instagram, but follow us on Instagram and TikTok
Always
at
they're on
the
Instagram,
Film Room.
not usually.
Yeah,
always.
yeah, exactly. At the Film Room Pod. Also on Reddit at the Film Room Pod. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple at the Film Room Podcast. If you want to support the show, we appreciate the reviews. When anyone gives us a review, we read on the podcast. How many stars should they give us, Scott, if they're gonna
5 of them. 5 of them peptide teas. 5
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
them
say, I was like, I was
ATX
trying to think of,
trials.
yeah, there you go. I was trying to think of what the connection. 5 butterflies,
5 seconds on the back of a bull.
5 seconds. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You should try for 8, but like 5, I feel like 5 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what now we're going on a tangent, but I don't know what the top time is. Obviously, 8 is better than 5.
Seconds.
Yeah,
You go
8,
for
yeah.
8.
'Cause guy didn't get it, but yeah. Thanks for everyone that voted. We appreciate all the support always. People that listen to the podcast, watch us on YouTube. Do you have any final thoughts, Scott?
No, let's do it.
All right. With that being said, remember, like Ron said, watch what you eat and who you eat.
True. That's good. It's good advice.
And peace out.
Peace out.